That was a scary minute. Whoa, hold on. You're coming out of my speakers. Things are not right.
That ain't right.
Things have not been good to hear since starting up the computer.
Any better?
Yeah, that's my headphones. Good.
There we go.
Yeah, I started up.
Talking?
Hmm?
Talking? What?
Oh, no, he was coming out of my speakers for some reason. But
Oh.
when I started up the computer, I had to reboot 3 times because the monitors wouldn't turn on.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. And then I thought everything was good, and then Michael was coming out the speakers. All right. Well, if we're ready. If we're ready, it's episode 198. And if we're not ready, it's episode 197 of We Were Gamers, a podcast about networking.
Are you erasing episode 197 from the canon, Andrew? You can't do that.
Are we retconning?
Yeah.
We've done
Come on.
half episodes before.
I guess that's true.
So it's an addendum? It's not an addendum. Okay, moving on. Hello.
Yep.
Welcome to our podcast, which clearly
Off to a great start.
Yep. This is how it goes every week on We Were Gamers. Because we're not exclusively a gaming podcast, right?
No.
Because we can't be, that we were gamers. We don't have time all the time for it. And I have questions, legitimate questions, for you, JJ, about networking.
I love networking. I'm
I don't
also
mean
a terrible person to ask this for. I literally worked in a job where I did networking for about 6 months, and I was like, I don't want to do this for a career, and didn't stay there.
I bought some.
So yes, give me your questions.
We've already established I did my own Cat 6 while under construction. This is not the construction minute because construction is creeping along again. So
Yeah, there's progress, huh?
no, not really. We're stalled. Not for bad reasons. Well, for bad. Never mind. Let's move on. Okay, the Cat 6 JJ that I bought is solid. Not. What's the other term for? The copper inside is solid copper. Not stranded copper.
Okay. I don't know that I knew the difference.
I see. Okay. Well, each little, pair that's in there.
Yeah.
The wire inside the jacket is a solid copper wire instead of a bunch of tiny little stranded ones together.
A bundle of bundles.
Right, exactly. I felt like maybe having a solid wire was better. I don't really care. You don't need to email podcast@weweregamers.com to tell me why stranded is better. What you do need to tell me here, buddy, is when crimping these cables, because I want to make some of my own patch cable, I have 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I read said, don't make your own patch cables.
I mean, fair.
Okay. But I've got 500 feet of cable here, so.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well, right?
Well, that was
if
the
you
question.
screw up, you always have more distance to keep trying. So
yeah. So one of the questions is it's inherently unreliable, or if you get it right, it's just as good as one you get from the store?
Yeah, assuming that you are buying all the various accoutrements, like the little jacket thing that goes over the edge of the tab and the whole thing, there's no reason it couldn't be as reliable as the one you got from the store.
Mm-hmm.
And you are careful and meticulous in the way that you build it, right? Many people are not those things and will build a cable quickly because it is easy to build them. And once you get like kind of into a rhythm or whatever, you can really crank them out, believe me. Yeah, I did a lot of building cables at certain points in that job that I didn't want. And you can make a lot of it. You can make it pretty fast. You can make it, at whatever specified lengths. When you have the control of the total distance or whatever, it gives you a lot of power. The flip side of all that is that then, like, are you going to be as careful as the machine that makes it perfectly the same way every time?
Okay, question 2. There seems to be maybe 2 types of R45, R45, right?
RJ45?
RJ45 jack types when you crimp them. Pass through and I guess non-pass through?
Okay. I don't know what... I've never heard that phrase used.
It seems that if you get the pass-through ones, you thread the wires through the RJ45 jack, and when you crimp it, it snaps off the extra ends of the wire.
I see.
Okay.
Or you lay them into a jack, and the crimper smashes them into the holes, and they don't pass through.
That is the only... that second one is the only kind I've ever worked with.
Okay.
I did not know there was a new fangled type.
Well, I'm just curious because I've never heard of that either.
Because the way I've always heard it done is you separate them out, right, and you peel back the color, and you feed these wires very carefully in a specific order into the thing, and you stick it in the crimper, and then you clamp it down real hard, and then you're good. And that's all you got to do. The problem is the little slots that they have to fit inside the plug are pretty small.
Oh, and everything pops out while you're trying to.
Trying to move the orange and the orange and white one next to the green one or whatever, and then the blue one that you put in earlier pops out, and it's just a whole mess. But once you like get it organized and you get like a rhythm going, you can do it pretty well. But yeah, it is kind of a hassle. But so I didn't know there were ones where you could just feed the wire all the way through. That's a cool idea, I guess. I've never heard of that.
Okay. All right. Because when you buy these things to try and do your own cables, you got to buy them in quantity.
Of a million, yes. Yeah, that's how it works.
Whatever you decide to do is a commitment. And the crimper is different depending on the type of jack you're crimping, right?
It would have to be, yeah.
Right.
So that makes sense.
So, like, I have to, if I'm going to do this, I got to make a decision on which side to land on. The classical side, it sounds like, that you did, or these new pass-through types. So if you have an opinion, you can send that to podcast@wearegamers.com. Anyway.
Make sure when you're buying it, you buy the little thing that goes on the back end of the tab also.
Like the
stress reliever or whatever that thing is. Isn't that what it?
Yeah. It's kind of like...
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like the shield that sits on the back of that thing.
It's on power cords all the time to keep them from fraying.
Yes. Buy one of those. Or a bag of 8 million of those.
Do they really work?
I mean, if you don't do that, you are at the mercy of yourself for making sure that you don't strip the cord back too far and leave the wires exposed and hanging, and then they can pull out of the sockets and all that kind of stuff. It's bad. You don't want that.
Got it.
Yeah. Those are very helpful. Plus, they make it look pretty, so you can't see when you like accidentally cut the main wire back too far, and then it just kind of hides it all under there.
Hides your shoddy craftsmanship. Okay. I used the networking minute to hide the fact that I haven't finished The Witcher, although I have one left.
Ooh, okay. Oh, man. I want to talk about it.
It's gonna pop off, is all I have to say.
You have opinions?
No, I mean...
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Things
stuff already popped
show.
off, right? Like... Yeah. I can't. This is like Spoilersville.
Stuff is happening in that show. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, Geralt is caught up with the thing and the people. And the bad stuff.
Stuff's going on, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I like it. I have definite thoughts and let's say normie opinions based on my espousal unit.
Okay.
Who's also watching, and she has valid criticisms, let's say. So maybe next week we can do spoiler time on it or something. I don't know.
Sure. Michael, are you okay with us like spoilering the crap out of it?
Yeah, sure.
Kind of no way to do the talk about the stuff he wants to talk about, I'm pretty sure, without spoilering the crap out of a bunch of stuff.
That's
fine.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
That show doesn't have vampires, but another show does.
Wow. A plus segue there into Castlevania.
It's all Netflix.
Netflix show.
It's all Netflix.
No, it's great. A plus. That's why I said that. Yeah, I have watched a few episodes of it. This new season 3.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. I like it so far. I am curious as to what will actually happen. They've spent a lot of because folks may remember we talked about it on this show before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seasons 1 and 2.
Definitely.
Michael, did you watch that at all?
It is still on my to watch list.
Spoiler, and I mean this in the full sense of the irony of the word, because if you've played or heard of Castlevania, you know
Dracula dies.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a given.
So it was kind of surprising at the end of last season. It's just season 2 of the show that they were kind of like, "Yep, and now he's gone," and you kind of are left.
And you're like,
"Oh,
wasn't he the thing?
that's the guy.
That's the guy there."
Yeah.
And they kind of like. Not only do they kill him, they kind of kill a lot of his people, and there's a lot of a good cleansing of the vampires kind of goes on there.
There's also
right at
a
the end.
very chipper note that show kind of is like.
It leaves on a very
the
happy.
3 best friends were together forever.
It does leave on like a very happy and like this is the end of our budget note, and like we're not getting renewed. Kind of, we've wrapped everything up. Like all done. Okay, great. Like walk off into the sunset. And then they made another one.
Yeah, and it starts on the same note.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
Do you think they didn't know that they'd be making another season?
I truly wonder.
I do wonder that. I have read that it's a enigma as to what Warren Ellis is going to do with that show, because he's not bound by any of the games or anything. He has a giant Bible that tells him every character's name and what they did, and then he just sort of goes with it, which kind of explains the Bill Nighy character this season.
Yeah.
What's his character's name? Miss Professor
Saint Germain,
who is a side character in a side story game.
Is he? I didn't know he was actually from Castlevania. I thought they made him up for this.
Okay, he is, and I don't. If you don't know who he is, I looked him up, and I got kind of a spoiler as to what may be happening with him.
Well, I'm not going to look it up now.
So don't look it up. If they go with the same thing, he may not, right?
Fair, yeah, fair.
But he's like a side character in a side game. It's not even a mainline character.
It would play to Bill Nighy type if he ends up as a villain, because that's the thing that Bill Nighy does.
So, but that's typically. The thing with Ellis is he's a side character in a random game, and he's not a villain in that. He's just a guy, right? So he could be anything now. We don't know, right? Obviously, casting Bill Nighy, you kind of think, suspect. Especially since he's played a vampire before.
Right, yeah. I was saying he's in those Underworld movies, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
His character, thus far, I've only seen him in like 5 minutes of one episode and then like half of the other. And he has thus far just been like fun and clearly up to something, but that's all I know.
So, Michael, the premise of this season is what happens in the world without Dracula.
Okay.
And basically chaos reigns. You'd think like, oh, the guy that was terrorizing the world is gone, things would get better. And instead it's like, no, they're more fractured than ever. People are kind of like vying for supremacy. A lot of people have just sort of gone insane. The church has collapsed. And, most of Dracula's minions are running amok, just killing people.
It turned out that Dracula was a good influence on the evil night creatures that just run around and kill everyone, in that he didn't let them do that most of the time. And now it is.
Yeah, I like it so far. It has the same vibe, or got into the same vibe as like the first season.
Yeah. So I'm, like I said, I'm only 3 episodes in, I think. So I'm very curious to see where it goes. I don't know what they're going to do with the stories of those 2 Forge Master guys.
It looks good, though. I like it.
Yeah. So, we'll see where it goes.
They're
I'm
leaning in hard on those dudes. So
they are the ones that are like, if not wholly new, like mostly creations of, or their characters are mostly creations of the show. If they were, vaguely things that existed before, now they are like, these characters are from the show. So it's interesting. I like it.
Cool. I'm into it too. We're gonna have to do a whole podcast on Jedi Fallen Order. I'm gonna have a lot to say about it, but I did play a bunch of it this weekend. Boy,
like a bunch to say in like a good way, or
mostly in a good way. But I can talk about one part of it right now. I don't understand in the modern day and age, if you dumb your settings down, how a game can have as much hitching as this game seems to have. It was just fine in the early levels. A lot of stuff is kind of like pre-rendered. But later on, there's a lot of stuff that's loading in the background, I think. Mm-hmm. And multiple times in fights and stuff, I'll try and swing the camera in a direction that I haven't swung the camera yet. And then it's trying to load stuff probably through the wall that's not even there. And then it just sort of almost pauses the game in how slow the frame rate drops down and unresponsiveness.
So there could be several things going on there. It is not necessarily just loading things that could cause that, but that is certainly one of the things that could cause that. That's bad. Shouldn't do that.
No.
Especially if the game, I assume you have installed on an SSD or something similar. So
yeah,
that would be shocking if it took that long to load.
We'll see if I can fix it. There's some threads out there. It seems that it's a known quantity to have done to other people. I will report back.
Okay.
Not unlike EA though to leave a glitchy game out there.
Yeah, that company Respawn has they put out some patches for it like sooner after release, but I think there's kind of nothing else coming out for it at this point.
I would assume well, I don't know if they're doing a sequel. I don't know how this ends.
Yeah, look, man, a game that sells well ends up getting a sequel. That's how it works. So
I guess you could just use Fallen Order as a timeline title.
The title is Star Wars Jedi: Fallen Order. So they have the Star Wars Jedi franchise.
Ah.
You can rename it the second part, whatever you want.
I see. I'd be down for that. It's a fun system.
Which is weird because like the other games, they weren't like Star Wars Jedi: Knight. Star Wars Jedi: Academy. No, that was not what those games were. So, but apparently that's what they want us to think, I guess.
So that you know that it's not Cal Katarn anymore.
Yeah, fair.
We'll have to put this colon in the middle of Star and Wars next time if it's not Cal Kestis.
Star : Wars : Jedi :
That'll be the 6th game.
Man.
Yeah. Nice. What have you guys been playing?
Well, I went back to the vault just a little bit this weekend.
The vault? The Steam vault?
Yes.
Aha.
And dusted off something that there have been several updates for since the last time I played. JJ, when did you last play some Dead Cells?
Oh my!
Oh man, it's been
They've had a whole expansion.
I actually did boot it up relatively recently when they released that thing. I was like, I should play this, and then I didn't do that.
Yeah, so there have been actually 2 expansions since the last time that I really played this.
Oh.
There was, one of them was a free expansion, Rise of the Giant, and then the most recent one was actual DLC called The Bad Seed. And both of them added several maps. You got a new boss with each one. I believe that there is now more end-game content beyond the final throne room if you're playing on the highest difficulty level.
So it's like a new game plus right away kind of thing?
The game always had like a new game plus kind of thing, but now there is like I think it's like 5 boss cells or something you need, right?
It is, yes.
Which is that's like 5 game plus, new game plus 5
man.
times.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember, Andy, but every time you go through this, when you beat the final boss the first time, you get a boss orb, and that allows you to up the difficulty for your next run.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can beat the game with 1 active orb, then you get a second orb, and so on. And it gets harder for each orb that you add into the mix.
Oh, no.
And the orbs do stuff like, well, now you can't refill your health flask every time between every mission, or the enemies do like double damage, but also it will do things like, hey, powerful like equipment with pluses and stuff will just drop like 100% more often, or it'll give you like the blacksmithing stuff is like way more powerful and it's cheaper to upgrade and stuff like that.
Cool.
That's I think how it works. That's my recollection. It was something like that, right?
Yeah, so what it winds up doing is it increases the ramp up of the difficulty curve. So the first levels get more difficult with successive orbs, but you are also equally quickly able to tank yourself up and become basically just a killing machine. So you're mowing. If you can make it to the later levels, you're just mowing through stuff.
Yeah. My recollection in that game was the times that I was successful and I actually got to the last boss, the throne area, I was insanely overpowered. Just like nothing could ever possibly stop my character. I was so powerful. You know, I had like 20 upgrades and damage and 10 in health or whatever, and it was just like rolling over enemies.
Yeah, so I think probably the most useful piece of information that I got in playing through this game was when you're upgrading weapon and skill abilities, pick a single color and stick to it. So your weapons and your magic fall into one of 3 colors, either red, green, or purple. And you get upgrades as you go along, and you can choose to either dump them into a single color, or you can spread them out among all 3 colors.
This is the same strategy in Puzzle Quest. It's like, I'm going straight yellow.
Yep, so it turns out that the best way to very quickly be able to just tear through stuff is to pick a weapon and a skill that are both the same color and dump as much of your ability points as you can into that color.
Was Puzzle Quest always that grindy, by the way?
Yes.
Oh, man.
I think so.
I'm starting to get a little bored. Sorry.
Well, you should play some Dead Cells because, man, they changed a lot in that game since I had played it last.
Yep. So I had to pull up a path map just to figure out where, which is super helpful, by the way. Just to figure out where all the new routes went.
Yeah, like I straight up couldn't figure out. Well, first off, I found the paid DLC route and didn't have that. So I got to that door and it was like, let's go to the store. And I'm like, let's not.
Wait, what?
So they put the first new level that you can access is the Arboretum.
Mm-hmm.
And they put the Arboretum door into the code whether or not you have the DLC. And if you don't have the DLC, it tells you, hey, you should go buy the DLC.
Right. To be fair, it's not like a lot. It's like $5 or something.
Yeah, it's $5.
And supposedly it adds a bunch of really crazy weapons and a new boss and a bunch of stages and stuff. But anyway, I wasn't going to do that. I just wanted to see the other stuff. And then as I tried to go, then like I very quickly was like, okay, well, I'm not doing that. I went on a run. I very quickly got insanely overpowered. I beat the boss. And I was like, oh, great. Like, hey, I'm back in this. This would be fun. And then I turned it up to like, new game +1 mode. And I can't get past the second level anymore.
Oh no!
I just take too much damage and I get murdered. Not being able to refill your health thing all the time is like I was relying on it so much, and it turns out that you can't do that. You got to just not be hit more.
Yeah, especially in the early levels.
Yeah. So I need to get good.
Yeah, man. You've been telling me.
That was the first thing that I noticed was, my reaction time is not what it was when I was first playing this game.
It's very hard to get out of that Fallen Order game and then try and get back into it. The parry timing is very small.
Are you getting your head around that combat at all, Andrew?
Yeah. But also, I have more stims now, so I get more health back when I mess up.
It's part of the loop.
I mean, but, the loop has become now monsters that I could, like Giant Spider. Okay, like fighting one Giant Spider before was scary. And now I fight 3 at a time, and I'm kind of just like, meh.
Yeah.
You learn their attack pattern. You learn how long to block, when to parry.
I think that's the thing. And I think it probably falls into Dead Cells also. At some point, you just have to learn, like, okay, this is the invisible dude that throws the knives. This is the weird plant thing that shoots spikes up somewhere. This is the, like, scorpion that jumps out of the ground or whatever, and I just need to like
hit the
dodge button better.
Yep.
Nice. There's a
dodge button's your friend.
There's a little monster in Fallen Order that pops up out of the ground, but you can see their little hovels, and if you stand directly on top of them, the other ones don't pop out of the ground, just the one you're standing on top of. So you can just stand there in block, and they pop up into you, and then you can just power attack. Dead. Cheating, I guess, but
sounds intended to me.
It does kind of. There seems to be some very hard bosses, but they all seem to have ways that you could cheese them. I don't know if that's intended or not, but
I believe that's called a strat.
Yeah, I believe that's called strategy. I will tell you.
I don't know if it's a strategy if I'm standing on the opposite side of a door and the thing can't get through the door.
Did it die at the end, though?
Yeah, he's dead.
So then it seems like it worked well. I see no problem with this.
Those poor security droids, they were too tall.
Sounds like a problem for them.
Still tried to get through.
At worst,
should have had better programming.
At worst, it's an exploit.
Yeah.
And not even. Like, it's a single-player game. Who cares? Andrew, never feel bad for winning in the Dark Souls game.
Take the W.
Did you kill that boss? You killed it. Good job.
Okay.
However it died, that's between you and your controller.
That's funny.
Yeah. Always take the wins, man. Sometimes the boss decides it wants to jump off into that pit over there. Well, all right, that's its problem. I am standing here perfectly fine. It wanted to go off the cliff, not me. So you take the W.
I mean, I can just send stuff off cliffs with force push, right?
Yeah, see, that seems really good.
Yeah. I mean, that's intended. Especially when they put 2 or 3 stormtroopers just standing near a ledge, and you can walk up behind them because they don't see you, and you just go, bye-bye.
They're asking to be pushed.
Really?
It would really be bad of you not to push them.
I mean, you're not playing the game right, obviously. Nice.
Well, I also dipped into a game that I have played before.
Steam?
Yeah, on Steam.
Uh-huh.
After our discussion last week about Baldur's Gate 3 and various other Larian games, I was like, man, I should go reinstall Divinity 2, or Divinity Original Sin 2, I guess, and play that. And I did. I played like the first few hours of that game. Man, that game's pretty good.
Will you play that long of a way back through it, or is that genre really like that nostalgic enough? Because when I think of like Diablo 4 coming, or any other game that makes me nostalgic for playing D3, I still can't get myself to the install button.
Oh, so this game isn't D3. This game isn't like a full RPG.
I know
turn-based,
it is. I know,
right?
but I'm just like, even if you played this or D3 or any of those games, is the nostalgia hit enough to just pop into that thing?
Yeah, so I it didn't install it for the nostalgia hit. I mean, I played this game, like 3 years ago or something. It's not old enough to have that kind of nostalgia, right?
Okay.
I wanted to play it because, well, I knew they did stuff to it in between the last time I played it. And then this Baldur's Gate 3 demo that they showed made me like, oh man, I want to play something like this, but I can't play this because it's not out yet. So this is the closest thing. But they made a bunch of changes. They released a bunch of free stuff, which they called the gift bag, which are basically like optional things you can change about the game. Some of the stuff is like, hey, there's like 500 different new faces and beards and hairstyles and stuff that you can use to change the way your character looks. Okay, cool. They also added a way for you to like redecide how your character looks in the first area of the game, which is a thing you can do later in the game for free, but in the first area you can't. So they just like said, what if you just like after 5 minutes of playing decide you want to look like something else? You just can't. It's free, whatever.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, that happens all the time. Like in not Dragon Age, in Skyrim, right? You make your character in the creator and it like looks good, and then you get into the game, you said, "Oh no," because the textures don't load the same way. So they should make that available.
Yeah. They also made some changes. Like they added a new, harder, like remixed combat mode, which I did not try because the combat is tough enough. But they added like a bunch of changes to the classes. They changed the way a bunch of the skills work, and they changed the like some of the caps on like action points and stuff to prevent. In the base game, you basically can't hoard your action points above a certain number. Mm-hmm. They raised one of the optional additions you can make to the game is you could just raise that number a bunch. I think it's like 6 in the base game, and you can raise it up to 8, which is like 2 full extra actions, basically. So potential for like some really big changes there, like late game. But it's interesting, and it's stuff that you can like turn on.
Is that stuff
like
gonna be in Baldur's Gate, you think?
Who knows? I have no idea. But it was good. It's been really interesting, like poking around at that stuff and playing it again. Like, yeah, man, there's like some good stuff in here for sure. The combat still feels good. I like that game a lot. I would play more of it, but then it's like, okay, I actually also already know where a lot of this goes, and like even though I'm using some different characters from the playthrough that I did, I still know like the general beats of like where this story is going to head here. So
yeah, unless it's an RPG you like truly love, right? They don't have a ton of replay value.
Yeah, it is interesting seeing some of the like first act stuff in light of what I know happens in the end game, being like, oh, this is how that started. Like, seeing that the story is put together coherently when you go back and see the first act, knowing how it ends. It's good, but again, no surprise there because I see like, yeah, I already know this dude is up to some stuff, so it's not.
You're the bad guy.
Yeah,
Can I just fight you now?
When the quest log tells you like, that was interesting. That person was calling out to some weird god we've never heard of before. That's interesting. You're like, no, I know who that is. That's a problem.
Red flags.
Yeah. So it was a good time though. But sadly, that was not the only thing I got to do this weekend.
Uh-oh. What do you mean, sadly?
Is it sad? I don't know. I had a run-in with phone tech support.
Oh my.
Yeah. So the phone that I have is like less than a year old, but all of a sudden the top speaker, which is the one that works when you are actually making a phone call, which I know who makes phone calls, but
okay, I'm ruling objectively on this. Yes, sadly, is the way we're going. The way we're headed here.
Yeah, I mean, who makes phone calls, but it turns out sometimes you do make phone calls. And so the top speaker just straight up stopped working, which is fine if you want to put every person and every phone call you make on speakerphone all the time.
People do that.
I hate those people. They should not do that. Side note, why do people just play videos in public at full volume all the time now? Don't you people have headphones? What? That's very frustrating to me. If I'm sitting down at like a taco place and eating lunch and the person next to me is playing some news clip at full volume, why are you doing that, man? We're just sitting here eating tacos. I don't need to hear your news or music or some random YouTube video. What is this? We live in a society. Come on.
We Were Gamers, a podcast for the olds.
That frustrates me.
At least for me, if it's at something of a reasonable volume, I just sort of chalk it up to it's no different if they were sitting with someone and talking. Right, if it's at full blast and like everybody in the room can hear it, that's one thing. But
like if I can hear it because I'm the person sitting right next to them, that's fine. I can move to the other side of the place or whatever, go sit outside, whatever. But like some people are just like walking in and it's like you can just hear like whatever song they're listening to full volume, man. It's like
I'm not out in the world enough. I don't experience this.
Don't do that. Well, Andrew, don't let your kids do that, okay? That's very important.
I bet you a lot of people don't have headphones anymore now that the 2.5 millimeter jack has lost 3.5 millimeter. Yeah.
I bought this phone half because it had one still. Not gonna lie.
But a lot of those headphones don't exist anymore, right? And so if you don't carry around AirPods,
I mean, you can certainly still buy headphones with 3.5 millimeters.
But I can't plug them into anything.
Yeah, but that's because your phone is dumb. Made by a company that hates you.
Don't worry, I have proprietary headphones.
Oh, certainly it's better then.
Yeah.
So anyway, my dumb phone just broke for no reason. And I was like, well, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I because my phone is made by Google, their thing is like, go online and like click through this troubleshooting thing and see if it helps you. I'm like,
good thing your screen's not broken.
Bro, I'm pretty sure this is not going to help, but sure, I will humor you and then follow your troubleshooting steps. And at the end, it says, click here to call us. I'm like, oh yeah, huh, wow. Big surprise that this is how this was going to go. I call them and it's an answering machine. I'm like, oh, well, this is a giant waste of my time. Thank you. It's like, leave your name and your like the description of your problem. It knows what, has what phone number I'm calling from or whatever. And we'll call you back and fix this. I'm like, oh, great. All right. So this is going to be like a 3-day process of waiting for them to call me back at some awkward time and then trying to figure this out. I tell them what the problem is, leave them my name, hang up. 10 seconds later, the phone rings.
Man.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah. Unbelievably fast. I'm like, oh, what? And like, the phone number resolves into like Google support. It's like, oh, okay. Wow. That was really fast. I pick it up. It's some guy. And he's like, hi,
Hey, this guy.
Like he said his name is Lance, but like that was probably not his name. That's how tech support stuff works. But he, he's like, hey, you called about this issue. How can I help you? I explained the issue again. He's like, all right, did you try this, and this? And I was like, those first 2 things were things that your online troubleshooter did. I did those already. The second thing is something I looked up already.
Troubleshooting tools, huh?
Look, and he has to go through the things, right?
Okay,
so
all right.
The next one is one I looked up and I tried already, and the third one is rebooting the phone in safe mode, which I have not tried yet. He's like, okay, let's do that last one. Okay, so obviously I hang up on him because you can't reboot the phone while I'm on the call. And I'm like, okay, I'll try this. Then he's like, all right, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. So the phone reboots. It takes quite a long time to reboot into safe mode and then get the phone app working and stuff because you have to do safe mode stuff. Disables literally everything except for the Google apps, right? So then you have to get it to recognize your SIM card and stuff all over again. So it's kind of a little process, but I do that. I verify that even in safe mode, the speaker does not work. I reboot the phone into normal mode, and about 15 seconds after he said he would, he calls me again. And I'm like, okay, so this did not work. This speaker does nothing. He's like, all right, So that means we're going to have to either return the phone and get a new one or repair it. Which one would you like to do? And I'm like, oh, he didn't even like make me go through any of the other troubleshooting steps or anything. He's just like, I trust you. Let's just do it. It's like, oh, okay. Well, if I return it, I have to go through the place that I bought it from, which was Amazon. And
days without a phone.
Days without a phone and probably a hassle.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to repair it, he gives me the name of this place called You Break I Fix, all one word.
Whoa.
That's the letter U, break, I fix.
Okay.
And they're a website. Google contracts with. They have a website, and the nearest location to me was like a 15-minute drive. Google contracts with them. They do all kinds of phone repair stuff for all kinds of phones. Both ways are free. You know, what did I want to do?
They didn't want to just like, well, they don't have stores, right? So how do you get a replacement?
Yeah. So whatever I do, the phone is under warranty, right? He had me check the number, the phone serial or whatever, and found the phone was under warranty. So he's like, hey, whatever you do, the cost is on us. The question is what is convenient for you here in this situation? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I can't go for days without a phone. So let's try the repair and see if it works. And he's like, great. And if it doesn't work, you just call us back. We'll help you set up the return and get you a new one. It's like, oh, okay. So there really is nothing to lose. So, okay. I go online. I schedule an appointment at this store for the next free day that I had, which was last Friday as of this recording. The store calls me the day before and is like, we just want to verify you have this phone. This is the problem you're doing. We want to make sure we have the parts you need so that we can do this.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You can show up and be like, uh-oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sorry, don't have any of those in stock. Gotta wait.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was like, oh, yeah, we got a bunch of these ones. That speaker thing is apparently a problem.
There.
So you're going to be in a class action in like 2 years.
Maybe. In which case, sweet, hand me that free $10 check or $20 Red Bull gift card or whatever you get for these dumb class actions. Okay, so sure. I give the phone to the guy at the place. I show up at my allotted time. I give the phone to the guy, and he's like, all right. He verifies the problem by calling the phone from the phone of the store and like talking into both handsets at the same time. It was kind of funny to watch. But I mean, like, how else are you going to verify that it doesn't make any sound, He's like, yeah, this is definitely broken. Okay, it should take about 2 hours. Do you have an alternate means of contacting you? And I was like,
text me.
I did not think this through. And he's like, yeah, this happens. Well, come back in 2 hours. It should be done. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll see you at, 2 hours from now. So I walked down the block into a Starbucks and went back to my car, got a book and listened to the radio and sat down and read for a while. I mean, I had a car. I could have just gone home if I was thinking correctly, but I was not.
Those video games aren't going to play themselves.
I know, right? What was I doing? It was perfect free time to play video games where I literally couldn't have been contacted.
You cannot be bothered.
Yeah. I didn't do that, but it was good. I like the book that I've been reading. So, and then I come back like about 3 minutes after the 2 hour mark. The guy says, oh, hi. Walks back in the back and comes back with my phone. And everything works fine. The speaker is working again. Noticeably louder than the phone was before because it had two speakers instead of one. And yeah, as far as I can tell, everything is normal. The glass completely clean. They didn't even have to uninstall any of my apps or anything. No factory reset. Nothing. Completely the way I left it.
Weird. Did they ever tell you what the problem is in the phone?
Well, so the speaker was dead. It did not work, right? The software could not force sound into the speaker.
Well, is that a ribbon that came off, or is that a
yeah? So
I did died, or nobody?
I did not get that level of clarity from them about what the problem with the speaker was.
Weird.
But they're like, talking with the guy at the shop, I'm like, I would be so interested to go in the back and see how you guys do this. He's like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not letting you in the back?
Yeah, no, he definitely can't let me go back there because he's like, it's almost like a clean room. We have all this liability stuff. No,
and people's phones are there.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, I get it, but like, I'm so curious, like how all this stuff works. He's like, I guess so. This is a relatively sizable company. They have like a lot of stores. It's not like this is just this one random place. They have like hundreds of stores across the country. And he's like, yeah, these companies that we partner with, in this case Google, like give us their manuals, teach us how the like phones are built and how to repair them, and then we are like the authorized service center for them. He says they do a bunch of other kinds of phones too, Samsungs and Apples and whatever. Like they will repair almost anything. It's just whether they are like the official service place or not depends on whether they get the like blessing from the corporate or not.
Huh. Okay.
But it's super great work. I have no complaints. The phone works great. Really good work as far as I'm concerned. It was shocking to me. I assumed it was going to be like way harder or take way longer.
Free ad for You Break I Fix, I guess.
Yeah, youbreakifix.com.
Wow. As someone that has
and of course it was free. Like I think the repair would have been like $60 or something if I had to pay, but he's like, "Oh no, we just bill Google." I'm like, "Sweet."
Wow.
As someone that has taken apart laptops and one iPhone, they're getting more and more complicated in terms of the amount of time and tools.
He said literally 70% of the time that they spend like fixing the phone is taking the screen off.
Oh man.
I can believe that.
So an hour and a half of that 2 hours basically is them getting the screen off and back on without breaking.
Yeah, without breaking everything it's attached to. Yeah.
Or breaking the screen, right? Like the glass on top or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's like, some phones are way worse than others, just because of like the design of the phone and all kinds of stuff. But he's like, this one, not that bad. But he said like some of the other phones that they work on are like giant hassles and just there's no way around it. It's just the phone is like all glass or whatever. So if you just handle it wrong, it just breaks. But he said, that's their thing, and they teach them how to do it. It's just that it takes a really long time sometimes.
Well, I'm sure Google's glad you chose to repair it rather than replace it, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm not clear. I mean, like, I guess it's cheaper for them than giving me a brand new phone. But if I had bought it from a store, like a physical location, right? Like I could have just gone there and said, give me a new one, and they would have done it.
Yeah. I wonder if they'd then take that back, refurbish and repair, and then sell as
resell it as like, used but still working. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they wouldn't. It would be silly not to, because the phone is less than a year old. So
right.
It's just like literally I would have done that if I had bought it from a store, but I just don't want to deal with RMAing to Amazon.
We're getting of an age in this smartphone era where I'm starting to wonder how much of these are getting recycled and reused and all that sort of stuff, and how much are just we're going to start filling up landfills with iPhones. And
so my understanding, at least, which to be fair is probably lacking, but a lot of the lower end phones that get recycled out of use end up moving to so in some cases people take them and melt them down for like copper and gold and stuff in there, which is like, the worst, lowest denominator stuff. But like old iPhones and stuff like that still have like some amount of value end up in like less like third world type countries, mm-hmm. where people need to be able to text and stuff still, because that infrastructure is still very like popular even in those areas.
Yeah, but like my iPhone 5 can't update anymore, so we're gonna send that to India. India's not a third world country, but I would imagine they need lots of
like
iPhones.
places in Africa or whatever. But like there's cachet there for it having an iPhone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like even they don't care about the update or whatever. It's like, can it text? Like they would be using a flip phone otherwise, right?
Oh, okay.
It's like, and now they have an iPhone, so that's like clearly a step up for them. even if it's like a iPhone 4 or something that can't really do new stuff. They weren't using the apps on it anyway. They just wanted to text their parents or whatever.
Gotcha.
SMS, right, specifically is what I'm talking about.
I really hope that's the case and that these things are not starting to pile up somewhere.
But my understanding is the vast majority of them, they don't end up going straight to normal landfills because most landfills won't take electronics. But they go to specialized ones where they either end up getting melted down and then separated for the various metal components or whatever, or they end up in like third world countries or wherever.
Okay. Cool.
If you know that I'm wrong, you can write that into podcast@wewergamers.com.
Nice.
All right, I gotta ask you guys about one last thing here. This will be quick.
Yes, I want to know.
Have we learned a lesson recently as Southern California?
Just done. All right. Well, great podcast, guys. All right, good.
As Southern Californians, have we learned a lesson recently about changing your sports team's logo?
Oh my God, yes. I wondered if we were going to talk about this.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh,
okay, Andy, I'm going to
go get the picture, Michael.
I'm going to send you a link. Here's your link. The Rams' new logo got leaked.
Okay.
Yes.
And nobody's a fan.
How could you be?
Don't autoplay this video. I don't want.
Oh, it's gonna.
Oh yeah.
I want the sound.
Pause the video. But definitely scroll down for the new logo.
You got to scroll down to find that hat in that picture.
Media
find that
cannot
hat.
be played.
No, keep going. There's a tweet that just has a picture of a hat.
This is just them taking the. Oh my gosh. Whatever website this is. Oh no.
Andrew, now
is that a Chargers logo?
Yeah. So Andrew, this is the question. I saw this. It was leaked. There was a leak on Reddit of this.
Are they joining into one super team?
No, this is a Rams logo, Andrew. Now, as a person who used to be a Charger fan, I saw this and I was like, "Oh, this is like some interesting new Chargers logo because it says LAC."
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, and it's got the lightning bolt.
It's got the lightning bolt kind of, you can kind of see it. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is an interesting take on this logo. I don't know if I like it, but I'm like, all right, this is like not the weirdest move. And then the post said that it was a Rams logo.
What?
What are they doing?
What is this?
What are they doing?
Well, and look, they split. Is it supposed to look like the stadium? Because look at the top of this thing is split. You can see black in between the right hand A part of the horn and the
the tip of the horn.
The tip of the horn. There's another stripe in there, and that's not split. So it literally makes a C.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff bad about this logo. There was a person on Reddit who did a design critique of this logo. A bunch of things that should line up in terms of like making the logo clean and readable and stuff don't. Like, now that I know this and I'm going to inflict this on you, the L, right? The upper line of the lower part of the L is not parallel with any part of the A.
Yeah, that might be
upper,
the hat.
The vertical part of the L, they have a vector version of this logo.
They have a vector one already. Okay,
that is not this way. Which maybe it's a pre-release and therefore not final or whatever. The L is not parallel with any part of the A either, and is at crazy angles. If you look at between the L and the A,
is it blue underneath it?
Yeah, it's
like a blue
outline
on it. Oh my god,
yeah,
it's hideous.
And it's a blue outline that's a different color than the blue of the hat.
And look, the bottom of the horn has like a divot. It's not a full circle.
No, it's not. It flattens out on the bottom side.
Flattens out, yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
And the top of the part is also not circular, like where the two like
yeah. There's the other side of your divot, Andy.
Mm-hmm. The A is slanted at a different angle than that L.
Yes, it definitely is.
It's insane. You look at that L and that A. The L looks like it's like lopsided, falling off. It's unbelievable.
The L is trying to get away from the rest of this logo.
It's running away.
If you drew the A, it would be massive compared to the L, right?
Yeah,
If you actually
the A
drew
would be
out
like
the A.
5 times bigger. Yeah.
Because you could see it's already wider.
Yeah. 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 Oh, the thickness is completely different between all the parts of the layers also. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's horrendous.
It's really bad. Why did they need to change their logo?
I don't know.
I didn't even realize this was a thing.
I thought after their Super Bowl when they had all the retro stuff that they were going back to the retro look because it was popular. Everybody at the Rams games that I've been to, they don't wear the white horn stuff. They all wear the old yellow stuff.
The blue and yellow, yeah.
Yeah. The colors it was when they were in LA before.
Yeah. And like that's really popular with people. I don't know why you would do this.
Looking at this led me down a rabbit hole that culminated in someone doing a similar critique of the Bears logo.
Okay.
The Bears have that C.
Oh, the C. Okay, because they have the old school B also.
Yeah, so not that one. The C, that Chicago C or whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is similarly misaligned in a bunch of infuriating ways.
It's better at least.
It looks better from afar, for sure. But when you get up close and you start examining it like they did with this one and how things aren't parallel and it looks infuriating, the C is similarly infuriating. That little, like, I don't know, serif or whatever that comes out of the back of that C is not in the middle of the C.
The thing,
it's like slightly lower. One end is pointed, the other one isn't. It's
why?
like, oh my God.
Why does it need that? Sarah, it's weird.
No, I don't know either. I can only assume they do this stuff just to make knockoffs impossible to produce because no one could get all these details right. But that can't be a good reason to make your logo look bad. Like, this Rams one is truly baffling in that it makes them look like the Chargers. Like, beyond anything else about the criticism of like the design and do you like how it looks, I thought it was a Chargers logo. Multiple people I've shown this to have said, "Oh, is that the Chargers' new logo?"
That's the first thing I thought. It was like, "Oh, wait, you said Rams. That doesn't make sense." Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Is this like revenge by someone in the Chargers marketing department who was told to work for the Rams and now like that's like some conspiracy theory level stuff? But I think it's very funny.
Speaking of not learning your lesson. I hope most people have gotten the message by now, but if they haven't, please wash your hands.
Yeah.
Just do
It's a good thing to do in general anyway. So you should do it.
Yeah. It's like good hygiene to begin with. So maybe just do that. And, we'll all get through this together.
And you really don't need to do anything else. Just wash your hands, Be safe. That's it.
Yeah. All right. If you have thoughts on the Chargers logo, I 100% honestly did not mean to say the Chargers.
But you can't not.
You can't not. If you have thoughts on the Chargers logo or the Rams logo, where would you send that?
You could send those to podcast@wewergamers.com.
Nice.
We're on the
web.
Yeah. wewergamers.com, the website is available.
There's links, actually, if you go to wewergamers.com, I'm going to do this right now. You go to wewergamers.com, and you're on that little front page right there, and you see the happy people, and it says who we are. There's a little link there. It says YouTube, and you can go there, and you can listen to all the podcasts on YouTube.
Nice.
Or you could do, I don't know, Michael, where else do people listen to podcasts?
They can find us on Stitcher, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Google Play.
My goodness.
Google Podcasts.
It's amazing.
We're all over the place.
What a world.
Literally and figuratively.
We are mentally, for sure.